Hello and welcome back to the weekly Q&A. Here we are, ready to answer a whole bunch of questions. Just looking at this, I think there are 2.5, nearly 3 pages worth of questions, and it's probably the most I've ever had. That said, this is gonna be the week where I start changing things a little bit. I'm gonna stop answering repeat questions, or at least questions that have been repeated multiple times, and I'm also no longer gonna be answering questions sent to me via my email address or YouTube inbox because those tend to be a couple of pages long. And I realize that a lot of people want to ask super, big questions, but if I have to answer those, then I'm going to spend 10 to 20 minutes per question, and then these Q&As will just get way too long, and I'll only be able to answer 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 questions per episode. And although that might be okay if they amazingly good questions that I have super cool answers for, that's not always the case. So, that said, leave your questions in the form of comments because it does give me at least a little bit more control, seeing that I can see all of them listed right in front of my eyes, and you got that character limit to battle with. I'm cool if you fill the character limit up, if you fill that comment up as much as you possibly can, go crazy. That's fine. So, we're back now after a nice long weekend on the farm. I say nice and long because we actually went for the entire weekend, which was from Friday till Sunday. We didn't come back too late on Sunday, which was yesterday. I'm recording this on Monday. It'll probably be uploaded on Tuesday. But we don't often go for the entire weekend. Usually we just go for one night. And I did reasonably well with keeping the uploads going. The only problem was my mom got new internet on the farm and it was kind of up and down the whole time. And there was a power trip on the farm, which was not so nice. But overall, I did okay. Did okay with keeping it up. And for those that don't know, this past weekend was Helene's birthday weekend and Nero's birthday weekend. More so Nero's because it was closer to his birthday, but only by 2 days. Either way, we celebrated Helene's birthday there, along with Nero's. His was celebrated pretty much the entire weekend. Helene's we celebrated by going to the local restaurant there, which was super good. We went for lunch, and they made what was possibly the best carrot cake ever. And we had a theory about that. It was that because we've spoken to them about wedding plans and catering, our theory is that they sort of bucked up. They upped their game because they knew that we were considering using them for our catering and stuff. And they gave us such an amazing carrot cake. I'm telling you now, it was dressed up like a wedding cake. The icing was so perfect. And it wasn't what do you call it, fondant or something. It wasn't the icing that they used to make little shapes and stuff out of. It was nice, good tasting icing. Or was it cream cheesy? What do they put on carrot cake? The stuff they put on carrot cakes. I don't care what it's called. It tasted amazing. But they dressed this cake up so nicely, and they made little patterns on top and put cinnamon sprinkles on, and the best, freshest possible nuts were on that cake. Oh, it was good. It was really good, and I'm happy they did that because that made it so much better. Not that it was bad last time, but it sort of solidified our suspicions that they would be a good choice. So I guess their little plan paid off too. Anyway, that's what we did. We had a nice weekend, and Nero ran through some of the itchy bushes, and he's got some extra sore places under his tummy now, which is not so cool. But the vet said it's no big thing. He will be right as rain in a day or two. So that's good. Now, finally get into the first question. From Fragrant Bloomers. I wonder, Lumin, have you ever been to or heard of Charlie's Bakery in Cape Town? Me and the missus saw their program on the Food Channel, and it looked like the most amazing cake shop in the world. So I'm sure they make it look better in these episodes and videos or whatever they do. But regardless of that, I have heard of it. I've never been to it. It's basically a really famous, I suppose in South African terms, or by South African standards, cake shop. Or wedding cake shop, or bakery, like you said. I don't know much about it, and I haven't seen their show on TV at all. But as I said, I don't know, they probably make it look much better than it is. I don't have much respect, or rather interest, in not respect for because I haven't really seen what they do, but I don't have much interest in things like cake shops or pastry shops or anything like that. I must say, I've eaten at a whole bunch of really good restaurants, and the local one that's close to my parents' farm is just like by far one of the best I've ever been to, just because they seem to make the food with so much more care and love than other places. We know the chef that's making the food there personally, so my vision or the way I see things like this has been flipped upside down. But from what I've heard of Charlie's Bakery, seems like an amazing place. It really does. Next question. Cal Smith, hello Lumin, question 1. Would you please recommend a game or two for me to play from any time or any genre? But it has to be a PC game, please. And something I could get for under £20 or around 300 Rand. That's a very difficult question. I would say that when it comes to PC games, it obviously depends on what you like. I can't just recommend anything, but I'm going to go with more recent games now, just because they're fresher in my mind. I would say that if you haven't played either Walking Dead or Bastion, pick them up. I've got some friends who played Walking Dead recently. I haven't played through it. That's the new one by Telltale Games. I've got some friends who played through it recently. I have read the reviews. I have seen articles and stuff about it. And I must say that does seem like one of the best games ever released. But that's an adventure game. It's sort of like a point and click kind of game, but as far as I can tell, with more suspense added. Then I'd say Bastion is also well worth your money. So good. And then I could rather just tell you not to spend any money. Pick up PlanetSide 2 on Steam for free. Give that a try because that game is so good as well. Try Dota 2, which you can buy an invite for like 30 cents. Let alone $20. You can buy it for like $0 on Steam on the community marketplace or something. Give that a try. That's nice because then you've got an RPG type thing in the form of Bastion. You've got a MOBA, which is Dota 2, and you've got an FPS, PlanetSide. There you go. I don't know if I could have done better. I would have probably had a lot more to talk about if I had recommended an older game because there are so many good old games. I suppose for $20, not £20, but for $20 you can try Baldur's Gate's Enhanced Edition. I got that recently. I can't wait to do an adventure with you on it, and it's such a good game. I'm talking about the core game, not the improvements they made. The core game is just... Anyway. Question 2. How important are manners and politeness to you? Anything from a simple please and thank you to opening doors for people and the usage of swear words. So I'm going to use what you said here and discuss a lot of this just based on that. So, spoken politeness, please, thank you. I think that's just essential. It should be happening regardless of what you think about it, regardless of what you've been taught. It's something that you should just do. Because why not? Saying please or saying thank you won't take up a lot of your time, and it could make the other involved parties much happier. So I think that's kind of important. When it comes to opening doors for people, that all depends on the situation. Some people I know don't like having doors open for them. I don't open the car door for Helene when she gets out. I don't do it. I suppose I could on special occasions. I think I have done it in my life, but I don't do it often. When it comes to things like if you maybe see someone struggling with their shopping bags and they're trying to like open a door handle while their stuff is falling out of their arms and they got like a baby crying in their little carrier thingy there, it's called a pram, then you can help them with the door. If there's an old lady crossing the street, you can help her. Those are just things that all depend on the situation. I think that's amazing if you can fit as much of that as you can into your life. But when it comes to what people, I suppose, think of it or how important other people think it is, I think a lot of that stuff that used to be considered the norm back in the day, like opening the car door for a lady when she gets out, things like that, they all depend on the people involved. So, for instance, myself and Eileen, she will not feel bad if I don't open the car door for her because she'd probably want to open it herself. Why would I make a scene and open the car door and attract attention to her? Why would I do that? I don't know. It's nice, yes. But it's not something I think is very important when it comes to helping other people. Now, that's because I'm in a relationship with her. I have been for a very long time. But when it comes to helping other people, do it. As for using swear words, I honestly don't have a problem with it. I think it's silly if people swear too much for no reason. But if you use swear words correctly, and I don't know if you could really say there's a correct or incorrect way of using them, but if you actually use them to express yourself in a way that's fitting, then do it. Whatever. I think people are sometimes overly sensitive when it comes to things like swear words and the way other people speak and stuff like that. It's not something that would affect me in my life. I don't think it affects Eileen very much. It's such a minor thing. So, yeah. I don't honestly swear very much. If I do, it's really like the rarest thing. But that's what I think. If you can be nice to people, if you can be polite to people, why not do it? Then, that was from Cal Smith, if I didn't mention. Next one is from Sir Travis42. How soon will we be starting up League of Legends games? And what will your account name be? Also, could you make a list of those anime where you were told to watch? Maybe as you start watching them and let us know what you think. So, I'm going to answer... Let's start at the beginning. So, League of Legends, I'm not going to be playing a lot of the game, but I will be playing a couple of games at least for the adventure-worthy I want to do on it. I told Eileen I wanted to try to do it this week, but I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to fit it in. It depends on what else comes out, and how much of the other stuff that I'm busy with right now I want to do. We'll see. There should be another adventure-worthy up after the journey down that went up today, sometime this week. At least one more, and then probably 2 more next week. I don't know. I'll see. But as for League of Legends, within the next week or 2, I think, and I'll probably only play 2 or 3 games for that specifically. Maybe I have a lot of fun. Maybe Helene and I want to play it again after that. Who knows? We could. As for my username or my account name, I think it's Tales of Lumin. And I think I'm on West. EU West. Someone else asked the same thing. Oh, it's down there. Samu Nasi. Hello Lumin, I was wondering what server do you play on in League of Legends? Because I found a person named Tales of Lumin on EU West. Is that you? Yes it is. That's me. That's me exactly. Now, back to the other questions we were busy with. Could you make a list of those anime you were told to watch? I don't know if I'm going to make a list of them, but I did mention a good amount of them in the previous Q&A, so you can click the little previous button to check it out. Other than that, I was thinking of using vlogs to cover either the anime series or movies, or both. So what I'll do is I'll make time to watch a movie. One that's already on my list is called Treasure Planet. I think it's called Treasure Planet. I don't know where I put that now. Treasure Planet. Yes, there it is. So that's one that I've already got on a list that I want to watch. It's not anime, but it's an animated movie that I've been told many good things about. I'll say, for instance, watch that movie and then have a vlog that's dedicated to just talking about that, what I thought about the movie, the characters, the sound, the visuals, the lot of it. And then maybe I'll do the same kind of thing for anime. I don't know if it'll be a first impressions kind of thing, or if I'll do a complete review type thing of the entire series, because that could take a bit more time, seeing that I would have to watch a whole lot more of it. But I'll see. I want to do something with that, and that'll allow me to get more vlogs out, which you guys obviously enjoy, because they seem to get a whole bunch of likes, and I'm keen. Really keen. Then, Firestorm123 left a comment here, which is kind of sort of correlating with that. It's directly attached to what I just said. Realistically, I don't expect Lumin to get through much of the anime series because it takes a lot of time to do so. Time which he probably doesn't have. But maybe he can at least watch Nausicaa, because it's only 2 hours long and it's a standalone movie. Asking Lumin to watch One Piece is like asking him to fly to the moon. Not gonna happen. That last line is very pessimistic. Who knows if I'd ever make it to the moon? Who knows? But He's exactly right. Firestorm123 is exactly right. Good that you told me, right the heck now, that Nausicaa, I think that's how you say it, is a movie and it's only 2 hours long, because that means it'll be bumped up my list. I'll probably watch it sooner rather than later. I'll watch it really soon, I guess. Maybe I'll watch it with Helene. Anyway, that's that. Thomas Watts asks or says, awesome, love your videos. One question is, it started with says, and now it's moving on to asks. This is a bit difficult to read. This is a non-gaming random question, but do you like the singer Adele? If so, what's your favorite song of hers? Now, that is interesting. I can't say I like Adele a lot. I have no problem with her music. I think that it's pretty good. She sings really well. My favorite song of hers would have to be... Is it called Rolling in the Deep? The really popular one? But it's only my favorite because I saw Linkin Park's Chester Bennington singing it. Or heard at least. And saw. It was a live thing. And that made me instantly like the song because the style that he sang it in was so much better. I shouldn't say better because she sang really well when she did that song, but I suppose I could just say it's more up my alley. More my type of thing. So I like Adele. Rolling in the Deep. That's it. I won't go out and buy a CD of hers. Dear Lumin, this is from X Fron when you... X? I think some of that nickname may have been cut off somewhere, but there are 2 X's there. So I suppose X Fron wins? I don't know. Dear Lumin, will you do more videos outside? From what I've seen, you live in a very beautiful area. Done. Next question. No. I've got a lot of videos that are still coming up over the next couple of days that are outside and or real life videos. Some that I recorded on the farm, some that I recorded with little Oren, like the little puppy dog video at the river, that kind of thing. I will definitely have more of them coming up over the next while. So stay tuned for that. Elv512 asked, hello Lumin, Elv here. Oh, this is not asked, this is saying again. I was thinking maybe some videos, I mean not all, but some, you could make them a bit shorter, like 12 to 15 minutes or so. And the reason I included this, by the way, is just to get everyone's opinions on it, because I obviously read all the comments. So if you guys say, no, this is a terrible idea, then I probably won't do it. But if you say it's a great idea, then I'll definitely consider it. Sometimes you make very long videos, which I totally love, but sometimes I don't have the time to watch them all. So maybe you could, at times, split the videos in half and do the early amount of likes to unlock part 2 thing. That sounds like a good idea for us to feel more involved and even allow me and maybe others to watch all your videos. I like that, and I'll probably have to set the bar slightly lower to start off with, not like 1,000 likes or whatever, maybe like 100 likes. I don't know. I don't think Skyrim often gets 100 likes, but I like the idea of splitting a video up that's say 30 to 35 minutes into 2 15 to 17 minute videos and having them, or that specific one, uploaded in one chunk. So have both those up at the same time, but keep the one private, maybe, until the other one reaches a certain amount of likes. Then it would be the same amount of upload time for me. So statistically, it wouldn't be a bad idea, but it would also give, you know, that more user involvement, viewer involvement, whatever you want to call it. I'll have to think about it, but the idea is quite cool. I like it. Then, Acid Hussers. That's a very interesting nickname. Hello Lumin, I was curious, have you ever watched Cowboy Bebop? A friend of mine said that the voice actor for Mugen in Samurai Champloo is the same actor for Spike in Cowboy Bebop. He says not entirely sure about it. And have you ever played any of the Darkness games? If so, which is your favorite? There's a lastly, but I'm first going to answer the first 2. I've watched Cowboy Bebop. It was one of my favorite animes of all time. So good. I haven't watched the English one, but I did watch the Japanese one. It was amazingly good. And I'm not sure if you're referring to the English voice actor for... Is there an English version of Samurai Champloo? I don't know. I tend to watch the version that has the subtitles and the original voices in, because I generally prefer that. But I don't know. I don't know if it's the same person. I have watched it. I loved it. If you haven't seen it yet, you should probably check it out. Then, the Darkness games. No. I haven't played them at all. I know of them and I know what they're about, but I haven't played them. Lastly, are you a collector, or do you just buy collector's editions of certain games based on how much they come with? Thanks. I'd say it's the latter. I buy collector's editions for games that I will either play a lot or I think come with really cool goodies. I'm still seriously considering getting the Bioshock Infinite Ultimate Songbird Edition, just because I really like the big figurine thing and the print that you get with it, and I think it comes with the art book and all sorts of other stuff, but you get lots of stuff with it. It does, however, cost a lot, so it's difficult. Really, really difficult. Not sure if I'm going to get it. I want it, but it costs a lot. So I think long and hard before I get them. Things like Guild Wars 2's Collector's Edition, where they gave me all this cool stuff. That was a no-brainer. I got that. I don't regret it one bit. I also have the Ritlock Brimstone figurine, which would go nicely with the Bioshock Songbird one. Gonna be cool. Next. Saldweller X Lumin, will we ever see or hear the return of Evil Lumin from the DayZ videos in any other videos? So, I did something interesting with that, and I'm really proud of how the videos turned out, and I really enjoyed how the whole Evil Lumin thing worked, and the flash forwards and stuff like that. My editing in those videos was really fun, but at the same time it took a lot of effort to make them. So if I ever start doing something like that for any game ever, then it would probably be less frequent than other games, and a little bit more difficult for me to do, more time consuming, that kind of thing. So I would once again just have to think long and hard about it. I don't know. I might try DayZ standalone when it comes out, and when it comes out, I'm hoping it's much better than DayZ for Arma 2 was, because that game, it was just so difficult to get running, to actually get into and play. User friendliness, 0 out of 10. And I think the guy making the game, Rocket or whatever his name is, knows that, so he's going to definitely set the standalone one up nicely. We'll have to wait and see. Trevor Sherwood, hi Lumin, glad Eleni's alright now. My question for this week, I see a lot of things with Lumin on it. Does that make you mad? No. No, having my name out there on all sorts of different products is amazing. I can tell you why, because you guys will go out there, you'll see Lumin, maybe in a different word, like the Nokia Lumia, and then you'll think to yourself, Lumin. Then you'll go home, and that thought will subconsciously force you to watch my videos. That's it. No, that's not exactly it. But I like seeing Lumin out there. It's amazing. The word is pretty, so I like seeing it. Then, Sakartep Satwativ. I think I actually just said that right. Wow. Hi Lumin, have you ever played the Thief Games trilogy? If yes, what was the best part of it, and which games would be similar? Would you suggest modding communities to make a mod based on Thief? Yes. I would rather suggest game developers to make a sequel. Where's Thief 4? They started teasing Thief 4 so long ago, and we've not seen anything from the game yet. Big fan of the Thief series. I bought Thief 1 the day it was released, back when it was released, which was probably like 12 years ago or something. I can't remember when Thief 1 came out, but I bought it on release day, or at least close to release, and it was so much fun. I love the sneaky nature of the game. I like the archery in the game. You get all sorts of different arrows and stuff. I just enjoyed the feeling of the game. A proper sneaking game, and one of the first proper ones, I might add. So, if I had to say a game that's similar, nowadays, I could say Dishonored is similar, but it's much more action-oriented. It's much faster paced, Dishonored, than Thief. Thief was more about taking your time, thinking about all the different approaches. And I suppose you could say that about Dishonored, but Dishonored is sometimes more about just being really quick with what you're doing. Switching your skills quickly, moving around fast, still silently, but fast. Thief wasn't like that. As for modding communities, as I said, I'd rather want big game devs to make more games like that. It's like the kind of game, or the kind of, I would call it a genre on its own, that just isn't that popular nowadays because people just want to shoot stuff. And you obviously don't shoot that much stuff in Thief, so it's not quite as popular. There you go. Ofaf Lunik. Hey Lumin, I have a question that I wish to get answered precisely. So, brace yourself. I want to ask you and your you about your jaw operation because my girlfriend is having one in a couple of months and she's stressing a lot. I'd like to know as much detail about the preparation, how did the surgery go, and everything else as possible. How long you stayed in the hospital after the surgery, and for how long you were unable to eat normally. Wow. I've been fidgeting around a lot here because this thing is falling down. There we go. Now, the preparation, not much. Not much at all. I think it's something like don't eat for a couple of hours beforehand. It wasn't a big deal, but that's mainly just so you don't like vomit or something when they have you unconscious. Or I don't know what the reasoning behind that is. I think it's something like that because it's unsafe if that happens. Regardless of that, when it was done, it wasn't really painful because I was like high on painkillers and stuff in the hospital. But a while after that, it got really, really bad. So I stayed in the hospital one night, which was the night I had the operation. So I went in the afternoon. I think I had the operation. Then the next day I left. I only left because my mother bamboozled them into letting me go home with her because she said that the food in the hospital wasn't very great. It was actually at a Mediclinic or something. But I remember the food being a big factor. She was obviously not happy with the fact that they were feeding me little jellies and ice creams and stuff because she wanted to give me proper food. She blended all sorts of stuff when I got home here, and that will be a nice transition into the next topic. So when it was done, then after they did the whole little cutting out the bone here and moving it around and stuff, then I had to, on my braces that I had, wear elastics that kept my jaw like that. I could open it like at most, basically far enough to fit a straw in, and I had to keep those elastics on for, I can't remember, at least a month, maybe longer. It was a good long time, but what happened was it started off really tight, so I couldn't, when I came out of the hospital, I could barely open my jaw. Barely. It wouldn't happen because the elastics were so tight. And what happened after that was that after every couple of days or a week or so, then one elastic gets removed and it gets a little bit looser, and so on and so forth. My teeth themselves weren't very sore, but the jaw just got really sore because it's sort of like a really bad bruise. When you bruised really sore somewhere, if you bump your arm really hard into something, then it's that kind of pain except on your face. Your entire lower face. So that was kind of unpleasant. And the food and stuff, I didn't mind. I'm not the kind of person that is so picky and finicky that I don't like drinking food through a straw. I mean, we blended all sorts of stuff, real food that my parents were eating the same day. They blended for me. I think I remember having spaghetti bolognese blended, so like the noodles, the mince, the tomato sauce, all of it blended, and it was like this big pulp, and I was able to drink that. But I can tell you that your girlfriend's probably going to lose some weight, because I know I did. Like a couple of kilograms. I think I lost like 4 or 5 kilograms when this happened. Mainly because it's all liquids, and you tend to be less hungry after something like this. I mean, that's just natural. Because it's so sore when you eat that you're going to have to slow down on that. Your body will make you slow down. The pain levels were pretty bad at times, but they give you so many painkillers and stuff, and I suppose once you've done it, then your pain threshold is going to be like up here. Nothing will scare you after that. But it's not scary going into it. I mean, depending on the hospital you go into, the people are usually very nice. They tell you all of it nice. They explain it all. They're very friendly in the hospital. You don't feel a thing when they're operating on you, obviously. And hey, looking back on it, I definitely don't regret doing it. But it was obviously a little bit unpleasant afterwards. So I hope your girlfriend plays either computer games or has a whole bunch of movies to watch or has a good book or 5 to read, because you're not going to want to do very much of anything after you've had that done to you. As for how long it was till I was able to eat normally, quite a while, because even when you can start chewing stuff, then it's still slightly painful. You can't chew really hard stuff or heavy stuff or whatever you want to call it. And it just takes a bit of time to get used to again. But overall, it's not really scary. It's going to be more of a relief than anything else, because it's probably something, I don't know what your situation is, but it's probably something you've either been waiting for a long time or you've wanted done for a long time. So congratulations, because it is a big deal, and I hope it goes really well. Good luck. Now, I'm saying good luck with the nerves, because you shouldn't be stressing about it. It's not so bad. You'll be okay. Next question. What's a local food in South Africa? So I'm not sure how to answer this. Local food's pretty much everything. The country has a very wide range of things, but if you mean sort of a traditional food, then I'll just go straight to braai. You may know it as barbecuing or grilling, something like that, where you put your food in a grid on the fire. I've put photos and stuff of this already up on my Twitter and Facebook and stuff. I have uploaded vlogs where I spoke about it and showed it, like our fireplace out there off with our meat on it and stuff. But that's probably the best example of a traditional food, where people make meat on the fire, like sausage or steaks or anything like that. We've actually recently been having Ostrich Burgers, which I suppose is a local thing, and they are so good. I know some people will be like, oh, ostrich, how can you eat that? But you could say the same about anything. Okay, but we had ostrich patties. They were really nice. It's the leanest meat ever, and if you make them on the fire, it just enhances the taste, and I'm a big fan. As for other stuff, other traditional food, depending on the areas, I suppose some places have amazing fish and chips. I like fish and chips a lot. We had some chips recently from the fish shop here in town, and the chips that the fish shops make are so good. They're actually called slop chips here. It's such a difficult word to translate. Slop chips. It's actually like, oh man, translating that to English, I don't even know. Chips as in French fries. That's what I mean. But they soft and floppy. That's such a bad way of explaining it. They're soft and floppy, and they got lots of vinegar and salt on, and they're good. So there's that. Those two. I'd say fish and chips, braai. Those are two very big traditional foods or meals or whatever. Then, that was from Unconsidered 1. Busky 100. Lumin, I can say I'm an old subscriber of yours, and I was addicted to your Terraria series. I said something about a game the same as Terraria. Will you play it? It's coming sometime around the first quarter of the year, if I'm not mistaken. I think you're talking about Starbound. I'm struggling a bit to read it, but it's made by 1 or 2 or 3 or a couple of the Terraria people, and it's looking amazing. Yes, I'm going to play it for sure. I can't wait for Starbound. I also saw recently Treasure Adventure World, which looked really fun. Not the same as Terraria, not the same as Starbound, but still quite fun. And it has similarities. Definitely does. Then, next question. This I liked. This is not a question, this is a suggestion. SonicMan86 says, Lumin, maybe you should leave out some bait and a camera to figure out what the creature is in your roof. After all, knowledge is power. That is so clever. And I was discussing this with Eileen when I saw the question, when I put it into my little list here. I might do that. I might put my, handycam or whatever it is, up in the roof with something in front of it with a flashlight on, or maybe with at least a bit of light in there. Something I'm sure that the roof creature will eat. And then perhaps see it coming to pick that food up and get a good look at it. Then I'll upload the video. Call it The Roof Creature Strikes Mercilessly. Well, I don't know if it's going to be merciless. Who knows? But I might do that. Or I might just have a rat coming to fetch whatever that is, because I know we've got mice and rats around here as well. We'll see. Unsmurfettable. Hey Lumin, here's a fun little question puzzle thing. Would a transformer get car insurance or life insurance? That is a fun little question puzzle thing. I don't know. I don't know if they'd be able to get any insurance because, come on, they transformers. They're machines of war, I guess. To some. To others, maybe not. But I would say, and Eileen actually said, definitely car insurance. Because there's no beating heart inside those transformers, not as far as I know at least. So, who would be paying for that car insurance then? Because I don't think a car is allowed to insure itself. There's your question. You can answer that for me. I don't even want to think about it. It's going to make my head hurt. Martin Kiha, or Kicha. Hi Lumin, what would you tell me about Nelson Mandela? He's 94 years old. He's really old. That's one thing I know. I actually know exactly when he was born. I think it was June 18, 1918, or July 18, 1918. The only reason I know this is because I did a project on him in primary school. It was a really long time ago, but I did it very thoroughly. I knew everything about Nelson Mandela back then because I had to do this project and do it right. I wanted good grades, and I think I got them. And in doing so, I learned a lot about him. But I don't want to tell you everything there is to know about Nelson Mandela. That's something you should read for yourself. I think his book is called The Long Walk to Freedom. He was, I think the quick and dirty version is, he was imprisoned for something he didn't do, and then many, many years later, he was released. He was already sort of an old man, or middle-aged man. He was released, and then he went on to become president of South Africa. Many would argue the best president South Africa has ever had, to boot. So he's a pretty special guy. Next, Nikki Lynn. Lumin, have you had any other pets besides Nero you loved dearly? Also, I feel as though the roof monster needs a nicer name than the roof monster. Maybe something like Hector or Doug. Think about it. You know, I would name the guy, but I think I'd have to first do what Sonic Man told me to do and get a good look at him. You can't name someone without having any information about them at all. So maybe we'll think about a name once we've seen said roof monster. We'll see about that. Have I had any other pets that I've loved dearly? Yes, many. I think every single pet we've had in our lifetimes, I've loved dearly. I have to say that two that come to mind immediately are the two that my parents have right now, Sophia and Twinson. Twinson is 15 years old at the moment. She's really, really old. She's a Thai Ridgeback cross with something else. Black dog. I think you may have seen her in some other videos already before, or in photos and stuff. But we've had her for 15 years. Now think about how long of a period that is, or how much of my life that is. I am currently 27 years old. So she has been with me for more than half of my life. That one dog. That's amazing. She's been with us for a long time. She's the most amazing dog ever. And I love her dearly. Sophia is pretty great too. She's a little crazy. A little bit silly. I don't know. She is unique. Watch the video of her barking at the river. It was like 2 or 3 videos back. And you'll see what I mean. She's a nutter. And she's also a real chicken. She may look mean at times, but she's a real little pansy. So there. I don't think we've ever had a dog. And now this is from when I was old enough to remember these things and really appreciate these things, but I don't think we've ever had a dog that I haven't loved dearly. And I will always love any pet that I have dearly, because that's a commitment you have to make. That's a commitment the pets you get deserve. So, MMA Tomars, Lumin, I've been feeling really bad lately. My cat Tinsel has been acting weird. She knows the kitchen is the one place in the house she isn't allowed, and that's the one place we've been finding her. To punish her for being there, we put her in the kennel, and she hates that. But after I let her out, she goes right back to the kitchen. She used to know this place was off limits, but now she won't go anywhere else. I don't know what to do. I love my cat, but I don't want her to think I hate her. That is such a difficult thing. I know this isn't really phrased as a question, but I'm pretty sure this was the question. The kitchen is the one place you should actually let the cat be. Tinsel needs to be in the kitchen because that's where the action is. Now, it's obviously because of the hair thing, and it's kind of difficult, I guess. I think I read in a different comment that you replied to someone else that she sheds like a ton of hair, and when your wife cleans, then 90% of the cleaning is 90% of the dirt that gets picked up is cat hair. So that's crazy. Maybe you need to brush your cat in specified locations and she won't shed as much hair. I don't know. That's what we have to do with Nero, because come summer, Nero is getting rid of big tufts of hair because he's getting so hot, and that's a natural thing that animals shed hair. And if we go brush him every day or two outside, then all the hair gets left out there. He comes in, much better. And it looks like he gets much skinnier because of all the hairs lost. But I honestly think that the kitchen is the one place your cat will naturally gravitate to, not only because the food is there, or that's maybe where, I don't know where you feed your cat, but not only because the food is there, but maybe your wife spends some time there. Maybe that's where the rodents go, because if you have a mouse or a rat or something in your house, then that little bugger is going to be in your kitchen, of all places. Maybe in your attic or roof or whatever, but it will want to be in the kitchen, so your cat will also want to be there to hunt. I don't know, just putting that out there. As for the rest of it, I really don't know. I don't think your cat hates you. Pets generally, I don't know how cats are, but dogs generally tend to love you unconditionally, and even if you're doing something that's not quite as nice at the time, I like to think they understand. So good luck. Then, Beloved3163 asks, are you happy? Good question. I think I've said before that that's the one thing that you should really ask people in your life as often as you can. I well and truly believe that's such a good question. I'm happy. I'm very happy with life at the moment. Everything. Every single little part of it. And that's it. I am. Thank you for asking that. Biffy C. Hi Lumin, have you ever had any close encounters with wildlife in South Africa? I've had run-ins with snakes regularly in Australia, but nothing like the creatures you have over there. So, we've had run-ins with baboons and stuff. All the time, those things are scary. They are so scary. They got teeth like this. And they're dangerous, I guess. But they generally tend to stay away from people. My parents actually have baboons on their farm, and they're a real pest because they eat all the wine grapes and stuff, and it's not nice. But as for run-ins, I mean, we've had run-ins with snakes a lot, but we don't have, like some people think, wild animals walking around in the streets. We will never have access to a lion or a tiger or an alligator or anything like that if we just go around. I think the one thing that people can easily have run-ins with would be something like sharks, and that's terrible. Now, this is other than snakes and stuff like that, which I would say is common everywhere. But no, I haven't really had any big run-ins, no scary run-ins, nothing like that. As I said, the scariest run-ins would probably be with things like snakes, baboons, bees and wasps. That's not really wildlife, but I consider those things wildlife. And owls. I've run into owls all the time. Not that they're scary or dangerous in any way. They're cute. They are so cute. I love them. We have lots of owls in the area, and they just welcome to stay. Then, Tails responds, hey Lumin, I have 4 small questions for your next Q&A. Will you ever start to record Minecraft again? Yes. How old is Nero? 3 years and 3 days. Just over 3 years. If you would guess, what sort of animal do you think lives in your roof? So it's sort of like a ferret type thing. Think that, but maybe a little bit smaller and more mangy. There you go. Perfect. That's what I think's in our roof. And 4, what will you do when you get to 100,000 subscribers, and when do you think that'll happen? Your guess is as good as mine. I hope I have something really special prepared when that comes around. As for when, if I had to be optimistic, I'd say by the end of the year. But realistically, I'd say 2014. Sometime in 2014, I would like to, by the end of the year, have 100,000 subscribers. I don't know if it's going to happen. I don't know if it will ever happen. I'm hoping it will. Either way, I'm happy with the amount of subscribers I get. If I get little influxes from certain places, then that just makes things all the better. And I appreciate every single one of you subscribing. So 100,000 would be a whole lot of appreciation. So that video is going to be amazing. Or whatever I want to do for 100,000 will be great. Then, Cool Alvin X11. Just wondering, if you could have any superpower possible, what would you choose? Kind of childish, but I thought it would be fun to ask. God, that's such a difficult question. Always so difficult. You know, I always cycle between things like invisibility or flight or super strength. Then you go to things like mind reading. Ooh. That's good too. I'm going to give you my top 3. I don't know if I want to order them in a specific order, but they would be... No, I'm going to say top 2. No, I'm going to say top 3. And I'm going to order them. I'd say... No, but would you want to read people's minds? I don't know. Oh my goodness. That'd be so difficult. Things like seeing the future. That would be such a terrible power to have. I wouldn't want that. Invulnerability. I would like to be the Man of Steel, please. I don't know if I'd like that. So I'm going to say that flight would be amazing, but also dangerous. Just imagine. Just imagine. So maybe something more subtle, like mind reading, but it has to be voluntary mind reading and not the type where you just hear everything going on. That could be fun as well. You could be like a real life mentalist. Except not like the mentalist, but more the one that can actually read minds. Like Twilight? Is it in Twilight that the vampire can do that? I don't know. I can't remember, but I have such a tough time choosing between things like that. So I would just never know. I wouldn't be able to know. Being invulnerable would be so good because I hurt myself all the time. It would be a pleasure stubbing my toe then. I'd stub my toe all day long. If it didn't hurt or damage me. Man. Anyway, next question. Slider575. First off, fix your donate to Lumin PayPal link. It's working just fine. Fix your donate to Lumin PayPal link. It is working, I checked it. And if you were to be a teacher of some sort, then what kind of subject would you like to teach? Greetings from the cold Sweden. I don't know. Now, at the moment, I probably wouldn't be able to teach anything because I don't have enough knowledge of one specific subject to be able to inform anyone to a useful degree. So, I'm going to go with something like... What would I like? I always think that English teaching seems like fun, but no. I would like to teach something that's not been taught yet. Something new media-ish. Maybe I'll teach people to be enthusiastic. I don't know. What is that? I can become a life coach. Wow. I don't know what kind of teaching I'd do. I've done a bit of teaching in my life, and I can tell you right now that it was super stressful, but also lots of fun, and incredibly rewarding when the people you're teaching actually learn. That's amazing. It's an amazing feeling, and I like it. I did a teaching as a foreign language course, which was really short but very intense, and I did probably about 10 or 15 hours worth of practical teaching in the field, proper teaching of real students in that time. So I realized that's not a lot, and that's like what normal teachers do in 2 days. But for me, it was a lot. It felt like a lot, and it was really difficult. That was, however, English, and it was as a foreign language, so it wasn't really intense English, but I enjoyed that a lot. So at this point in time, that'll be probably the closest bit. But if it was something fictional that doesn't exist yet, or that I probably wouldn't be able to do at this point in time because I don't have enough knowledge about it, then I'd say something that hasn't been taught yet, something more new age, to do with the internet, to do with gaming, to do with today, the present. Not teaching people about the past or anything like that. Something more new age. Next question. Pobab. Interesting nickname. Would you break the law to save a loved one? Yes. Also, if you're picking your faces... Also, if you're picking your faces for the image for the Q&A each week, this one was glorious. Such rage. I know, it was amazing. I go through the videos in media player, VLC, whatever player I'm using at the time, and I open Fraps and I just print screen a whole bunch of them, and then I go through them and find a nice one and use that, because it makes more sense having my face there instead of some other picture that doesn't mean anything or isn't related to the Q&A. So I'll probably do the same this time around. Exactly the same, with a different face. Then, there's a girl in my school I'm really interested in. I like these questions. She's amazing, and I recently got in a cover band, and the greatest thing of all is that she is the singer. Congratulations. I wish I was good enough to be in a band, because that sounds amazing. Especially with a girl I like. Even more amazing. I've never had problems with talking to girls and making them laugh, but this one is tricky. I'm such a creative person, but my mind gets all blank when I'm in the same area as her or talking to her. It's hard, Lumin. Do you have any superb advice for me? I don't have any superb advice on the subject because I'm terrible with girls as well. Helene doesn't count because she's no longer a girl. She's mine. We've been together so long and know her so well that it's different. It's a different story. But when it comes to any other girls out there, I'm going to go with the old classic and say be yourself and don't try and steal her away from a different boyfriend. I think that's really good advice because she's probably not going to like that. The boyfriend's probably not going to like that and you might get beaten up. That's practical advice. I'd say that's really practical, but if I had to just expand and give you some tips, then I'd say that I probably wouldn't be able to. But just talk to her. Be yourself. Be her friend. You've got a lot in common, I'm assuming, because you're in the band with her. So both of you must be creative / musical people. I'm sure you can't have a tough time or won't have a tough time finding things that you both like or enjoy or are interested in to talk about. So, just become her friend. Take it slow and take it from there. I'm assuming she's already your friend, but just be a better friend. I don't know. I'm bad. I'm bad with girl advice. I really am. If you have to ask something like that, you should ask something much more specific. Valentine's Day is coming up. Consider that. Consider sending her something from you that's nice. Maybe don't go full on romantic. Maybe go half romantic, half friend. And see how that goes. Just dip your toe into the waters. See how it feels. See if it goes well. And if it does, move forward from there. Next. Isabella Vicente. Wow. What a name. Hi Lumin. This is a two-part question. I was wondering what your favorite aspect of Guild Wars 2 is. Do you like PvP or PvE? Or World vs. World vs. World best? I'm going to put World vs. World with PvP because... No, wait, I'll take all three of them and rank them from 1 to 2 to 3. I'd say my favorite is PvE, second favorite World vs. World, third favorite is PvP or structured PvP, And the reason is freedom. Okay, freedom all the way. PvE, I just run where I want to run, do what I want to do, and have fun all the while. World versus world is kind of the same, a little bit more restricted, because there are people trying to kill you and stuff like that. And you can't really do things alone or in smaller groups as much as you can in PvE. And then lastly, PvP is just a slaughter fest where I'm the one getting slaughtered and other people are the one doing the slaughtering. So I haven't played much of it yet, and I'm not as good as I should be at it yet. But when I do get into it, it might bump up the list. Who knows? Next. Also, what has been your favorite new content for the game so far? For me, it was the Winter's Day event. Thanks, Isa. So, I have two answers to that last question. I'd say I really like the improvements they've made to the game itself. That's the one part. Things like the new laurel system, things like the achievement improvements, little things like that are huge to me. They make such a big difference when you play in the game to how much you enjoy it. To the immersion factor, I feel that Guild Wars could have been in development for another year and they still wouldn't have been done with the game. Done as in with the polish, with the level of user friendliness that they need. I feel that the UI in Guild Wars is still a mess. They need to do a lot with it to make it better. They need to optimize the game a lot more. All that stuff. That ends up being my favorite when they do things like that. Other than that though, my favorite content added to the game would have to be just a sort of generalization, the jump-in puzzles. I'm just saying that, so I absolutely loved the Halloween one, the clock tower, so painful, so much fun. The ones that they added in the Lost Shores event, mostly the Skipping Stones one, amazing. Winter's Day, a mix between the two. I liked it. It was slightly bigger, also timed, very challenging. That's my favorite of all the stuff that they've added, the jump-in puzzles. If I had to say thematically, is that a word? I'd say that the Winter's Day event was a really nice transformation of pretty much all of Tyria. The transformation that occurred, say, in Lion's Arch, and all the stuff that you could get in Winter's Day, really cool. So those are the things that I enjoyed. I liked the theme of Winter's Day. They did it well. I'm hoping they do something like that with the Valentine's event. And I also liked the jumping puzzles they added. So I suppose I'm being a bit more precise. I'm not just saying I liked the whole Winter's Day event. I'm saying I liked the jumping puzzles in the Winter's Day event, the Lost Shores, and Halloween. I just love jumping puzzles. So good. Then, hey Lumin, what class did you play in Borderlands 2? I am currently playing, when I do play with Helene, the Necromancer. Mainly because I had the DLC. She seemed like such a fun, spunky character that I couldn't not play her. Also, Helene doesn't have the DLC, so I wanted to at least have one of us with the new character. She's playing the little berserker dude, the gunzerker or something. We had fun. I played Zero before that, before I had the DLC, but not very much. Played more Necromancer. I like... It's not recording anymore. Oh, it's recording. I like... Something's making a noise back here as well. Just getting much worse. I like the way the class works, where it's kind of technical but really simple at the same time. So you've got the whole... I'm trying to think exactly what it was. The reload mechanic where you're not meant to reload your gun. You have to empty your magazine, because that allows you to go for different stats and different stat points with your badass rank that you spend. So you go for, instead of going for gun damage, which is obviously good, you still go for that, or elemental damage or accuracy or stuff like that, you go for things like reload speed or fire speed, because you get these bonuses for not reloading your gun, keeping shooting with the anarchy system. I don't know it very well, but I do know that it helps a lot when you don't reload, and I like that. I like that they did something so unique with the class, so that's obviously the class for me. Now, I'm hoping that my little setup here didn't desync or something, because that would be terrible, but whatever. I'm nearly done. What are your thoughts on Mr. Pandoria? And what's your favorite class and race in WoW? This is from Joshua Culprin. Mr. Pandoria is great. They added a lot of content, but I feel that they didn't do anything drastic enough to make it worth it for me to play it a lot. Guild Wars 2 came out. I was hooked. I was enjoying it. It was something totally different, something exactly what I wanted. And Mr. Pandoria, it felt like more of the same. Sure, it was dressed in a really fancy way, but it was more of the same. My favorite class and race, I like... Tough question. I got a lot of favorites. I enjoy Hunter. I enjoyed Priest that I played. You know, I enjoy so many. I love Paladin as well. I definitely like Rogue, but without latency it was difficult to play. I don't have a favorite class. I even enjoyed Mage quite a bit. Favorite race? Undead. Definitely Undead. Mostly female. I don't like the males so much. I like female Undeads. They look cool. Mr. Minipin. Any plans for Far Cry 3 or Assassin's Creed 3? You should make a Lumin FAQ/bio page. That was two separate things. I just read it all in one because I'm bad at reading. And I've done Far Cry 3. I did the Adventure Worthy episode. Then I uploaded the extras after that. I haven't played much more of the game after that. Amazing game though. As for Assassin's Creed 3, I'm probably going to be doing that within this month, within the next couple of weeks maybe. I want to get to play Assassin's Creed 3 because I do own it now, and it looks like I'm kind of missing out on a bit, but then again, it doesn't seem like it's as groundbreaking or amazing as some of the other Assassin's Creed games were. We'll see. As for the FAQ/bio page, I'm working on that. I need to get it done. You're right. Because that would save me a lot of time and effort answering questions. Now, Captain Snowflake, what's it like living in South Africa? I'm not going to take too long to answer this because I'm afraid my webcam is going to kill the footage that I'm recording. It might be out of sync. If it is, I apologize. I can't do anything about it right now. I can just try to record the next video shorter. But what it's like is really amazing if you live in a nice area, in a safe area, and kind of terrible if you don't. That's the best possible way of explaining it. It is such a nice country. It's the perfect country if you live in a good area. If there's not a lot of crime, if you have surroundings that you like. Because I can't say if you have the best, if you live by the sea, or if you live in the wilderness, or if you live here or live there, because everyone has their own tastes with stuff like that. But I would say if you live in an area like it's safe, you have the means to provide for yourself, then you're going to be happy living in South Africa. If you like your tech products, if you like your really fast internet, then maybe you won't like it so much. But that's the sacrifice I'm willing to make for living in a place like this. There you go. Suish. Hey Lumin, finally decided I should give some input in the Q&A as well, since I always just watch. So here's my question. If you had to name 2 colors as your favorite, which would they be? And what would they be for Helene? And while we're at it, what do you think Nero's would be? Nero's favorite colors would be green and green. Green and green. Different shades. I think Nero probably also likes things like brown. Probably green and brown. Let's go with green and brown because they're really earthy colors and green looks really nice on Nero. Really nice. His fur brings out the bright green color that he wears around his neck at the moment. Anyway, my favorite colors, yellow and that's actually it. I don't really have yellow and white. You know, some people will say that black and white shouldn't be considered colors. I think there's a technical explanation for it. Is it black? The absence of color? I'm going to include them in my little mentions here. I like yellow and white, 2 of my favorite colors. As for Helene, her color her favorite colors, let's just say, have changed a lot over the years. She used to like black and pink. She used to like black, white, and pink, I suppose. I would say now she likes fresh colors, vibrant colors, summery colors. If I had to guess, I'd say she's also a big fan of the white. I just know that. I think, judging from the stuff that she said about the wedding planning, she likes... It's difficult. She's standing there, so I must really answer this very carefully. I still think she likes pink a lot, but not a really intense pink. Not the most intense pink. She likes the blue and orange that I use for my channel all the time. She likes the earthy colors at the moment. So, sort of the same as Nero with the lighter greens and that stuff. But I don't know. I must maybe ask her to come over here and tell me. She's in the kitchen right now. So I don't know what her favorite colors are because they change so much. And I feel kind of bad about that. But whatever. There you go. That's such a bad answer. Man, it was all over the place. The Sparrow's Journey asks, after the latest news, I have to ask, where will you and Eileen spend your honeymoon? Or would you like to go if you haven't planned it? Or where would you like to go if you haven't planned anything? I can imagine you can't just stay away from YouTube, though. So that's true, I suppose. And I think we're just spending, as far as I know, we're spending our honeymoon on the farm. We're just going to take a couple of days and have holiday. That's it. Spend time with family, spend time with Nero. It's not going to be us going alone somewhere. Nothing like that, so it's not traditional in that sense. And we can't really go anywhere far away because of Nero, because of my obligations to YouTube and stuff like that. So we're probably going to spend it on the farm with family and friends. Mostly family, but maybe friends. Last question. Night Shadow PR. Hey Lumin, congrats to you and Eileen on your engagement. Anyway, I got a question. How cold does it get in winter in South Africa? Is there any snow? Yes, there's snow in some parts of the country, and it gets pretty cold. I'd say we get to around the zeros. Never really much lower than that. And it depends on the area, because some areas, even the summer, is pretty cold, or at least doesn't get too hot. And other areas, in winter, it gets like freezing cold. Even like on my parents' farm, for instance, which isn't that far away from here, you get zeros. Ones and zeros in the middle of winter, where here where we stay in, I think the lowest it'll go is maybe 8, 9, 10, 12. I don't know, around there. Maybe lower, like early in the morning, 6, 7, whatever. 6 or 7 degrees at like 3 or 4 in the morning or whatever. But it gets cold, and it only snows in some regions, up on mountains. I mentioned before that we did actually go, when we were younger, much younger, to visit the snowy area, to play in the snow, because it's special. It's something not everyone gets to do, and we enjoyed it a lot. But we don't have it like snowing out in the streets or whatever. We don't have white Christmases or anything like that. You can see it's food time. It's food time for Nero, and we're going to get to it right now. But we still have a cold winter and a hot summer. That's for sure. Now, I took a really long time answering all these questions. I apologize that it was this long. Next week, it's probably going to be a bit shorter. Probably between 30 minutes to 40 minutes. Hoping I can manage that. But if you have any questions, leave them below in the form of a comment so that we can sort of limit what you're going to say or how much you're going to ask. Because when they do get too long, they get a bit difficult to answer. I hope that this video is going up properly, because I think if I record something this long, then it might give me syncing issues, but we'll have to wait and see. If it does, I apologize again. But that's it. Check back soon for more. Most importantly though, happy leaving those questions. Happy that.